So this hike was a little more challenging than I expected. It rained the first day and that made the trails very muddy. And I've been to the Adirondacks before. It's kind of a special place. I've been going there since I was a kid, been there multiple times, and I almost always find myself taking the train or bus up from New York City at least once a year to hike. The Adirondacks are very forested. It's very difficult to get through this dense, mossy, rooted trail, and extremely difficult when it's muddy like it was. But to be honest, that's what I love about hiking. You face challenges and you overcome it no matter what. Figure it out, get creative, and tough through it all. And this trip was made possible by B&H Photo. And I am just so happy that they support creators like myself and help me do the things that I love. They're definitely a good team to be a part of, and they provided me with a Panasonic Lumix S1H before it came out, so I got to try out a new camera. And let me tell you, this thing is a beast. This was the first time that I was shooting in 6K. I had a Sigma 14-24 lens, and at 14, sitting on a tripod with all of this wood and wet moss and like dense forest around me, it really was like I was walking through a painting. The amount of detail, especially when the leaves in the trees were wet, just the saturation of the green came out. I shot everything default, and the amount of detail in the video is just fantastic. And I'll tell you, on the first day with the rain and the wind, summiting Mount Marcy, the highest point in New York, the camera got a little wet, but it still worked. It was fine. It was a beast. It powered through it. And I just embraced the wetness and exposed for that saturated look all around me. One of my favorite shots was this fallen tree that was red and rotting, but the color popped so vibrantly against the green pine trees and the wet brown mud. I just got to walk right through it, and it was really cool tilting the camera down at 14mm with the 6K resolution. Oh, I thought it looked great. I've just brought the one battery in the camera and charged it overnight via USB-C in my waterproof bag while I slept. And because I was shooting 6K and especially wide, I knew that I could crop in a little bit to get a couple different shots with the same frame. And I really think that's one of the strong points of this camera, being able to use one lens but get a lot of focal length range because of the digital crop in and the amount of information that's being recorded on this full frame sensor. I actually got to talk with some other amazing filmmakers at a panel put on by B&H all about this camera, so you can check in the description to watch that full thing. It's like a round table podcast, and we all talk about our experiences with the S1H. But regardless, support me by supporting B&H, and there is a link to check out the camera yourself in the description below. One really fun aspect about hiking is trying to get your pack as light as possible, yet efficient to do the job. And I have been swapping things in and out. If you want to see all of the stuff that I brought with me on this hike, you can check that in the description. That's the best place to see all that gear. But for this hike, one of the biggest things is that you need a bare canister. And not all bare canisters are the same. I should have known better. I've been to the Adirondacks and rented the big plastic black bare canisters that they provide, and these are heavy duty. I went to REI right before the trip and bought one of the clear blue, smaller ones, thinking it would be okay. When I was on the trail, I did have a ranger check my bare canister and tell me that, yeah, bears can open and just like crack those. You really need the heavy duty ones. And like any hike, you should know beforehand what the rules are. This was a wilderness, so that's no drones, no fires, no permit, but you do need to sign in and out so that people know where you come in and out of the trail. Leave no trace. There were lean-tos on this trail. Just know the rules. Please respect these places. They're very important. I had my hammock on this trip, and I think I'm not going to hammock camp anymore. It always sounds better than it actually is. On the first night, it was raining, so I decided to just sleep in a lean-to. And there were 4 other people, so it was kind of tight quarters. They say 6 max, but that would be kind of crazy. I had a bunch of food on this trip. Of course, you know, the Twix, oatmeal, jerky, apples, oranges, all this stuff I bought in town right before I headed out. When I hike, I love listening to music and audiobooks, and on this trip, I listened to Company of One, which is good for anyone thinking about starting their own business and staying lean. It's got some good ideas. Check it out in the description. So what is next? More international and domestic hikes. I would love to still experiment with the cameras that I'll be using on these hikes. I just got the new iPhone 11 Pro, so I've been kind of teasing an iPhone only hiking film, which might be interesting. I also would love to try the Sony RX100 Mark VII, a brand new smaller version of kind of what I have, and I would love to see if I could get the same quality a video that I shoot with the A7 III, but with a much smaller camera. On my next hike, I'm thinking about swapping out a couple pieces of gear, mainly the lens. I would love to try a Sony 24-105. I'm always experimenting with music. I would love to maybe work with musicians to create custom music, or maybe go in the opposite direction and not use any music at all, but instead mix the ambient sounds that I record into almost like a soundtrack for the film. Let's get even more zen with these things, why not? I personally really want to work on the introductions to these videos. When I start a hike, I don't quite know exactly what the plan is for the video. Of course, I'm shooting for the edit, but I almost need to plan out exactly what the introduction, the first shots for the film is, because I usually am warmed up and shooting much better clips towards the end of the video. I kind of want that reversed. Like, I want the video to start off with a bang and then hit a climax and then fall off. So I gotta work on that. I do want to help you. If you do want to go on this hike, let me know. I'll try to act as your guide online. Of course, please visit the Adirondacks with respect. Follow the rules. It's a beautiful place that I hope you visit sometime soon. And let me know where you think I should go. I'm always looking for hikes, and I appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.